See KAVU TV 25 Victoria.
Hello and welcome to Community Crossroads. I'm Carolina Astrain. On this week's show, we hear from a local author and we learn about his new book. We also learn about forms of re-entry to society for ex-convicts. We hear from the Salvation Army of Victoria, and we also hear from the municipal judge, Vanessa Heinold. And now we welcome local author Matthew Albright. Welcome to Community Crossroads.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Matthew, talk to us about your book. Is this your first published piece?
Yes. It's my first ongoing. It was kind of a concept I received probably about 3 years ago while we were locked up in COVID. Yeah, I had some downtime and watching a lot of movies then. And I think one night we were watching kind of a Dateline special. And I don't know if you remember, kind of dark subject, but about 10 years ago, it was the two girls in Ohio that were kidnapped and were found. I think they were kidnapped at like 10 years old and they were found when they were 20 years old.
Oh, wow.
And the neighbor found them and and so anyway, based off that idea and kind of those type of characters sat with me. And a story started to develop and characters started to develop in my head, and I kind of formulated out this story. And then sat down and wrote an outline, chapter by chapter, and then wrote, kind of a first draft manuscript of it. Yeah.
So your book, The Broken Underneath.
Yes.
Kind of exploring those untold stories in rural America.
Yes.
And you have several characters that you write from the perspective from. I was happy to enjoy a copy of your book over the weekend. Awesome. How did you get yourself in character? Because in some instances you go from being in character as a young boy, but then you go from that to being a black girl, a white woman. How did you prepare and research for these roles?
My wife helped me tremendously because I was writing from four main characters, kind of their first person perspectives. Two of them are girls, young girls. And so I didn't want to over or assume anything. And so when I was writing, I of course had my sidekick, which was my wife, to kind of refer to her and be like, hey, am I hitting the mark here? Am I getting close? Don't want to assume? And she's like, yeah, that doesn't sound right. Or she'd be like, take that away or do this. So she helped tremendously in that realm, especially with the female perspective of those characters. Yes.
And what has the publication process been like for you? Walk us through those steps.
A journey. So actually the story came very fast. I wrote a first draft in about 3 months and then started refining it over the next 6 to 8 months. But then once I got it to a point after about a year, I started doing mass, mailings and stuff to literary agents and publishers. And that was a big journey, took a long time. We do live in a very saturated market. It seems like everyone's writing a book or trying to write a book or get something out there. So being a first-time writer, first-time novelist, was a little bit of an uphill battle, but I finally was able to find a publisher, someone to take a chance on me, someone that liked the story, thought it was fresh enough, and lucked out in that regards. But it is a process, and it took that alone. Trying to get a publisher took months and months and months of submissions.
So what's up next for you? Are you going to start? Is it on the market? Are you going to start doing readings?
Yes.
On tour?
No. We've had a few signings. Right now, just getting the book out there. It got released on April 28th. So just pushing it out there. They can go to Amazon online. There's also Barnes & Noble online. Also our publisher, Austin McCauley Publishers, you can get the book there. So just pushing it and maybe down the road, try to kick around, have an idea for maybe doing something else. But right now, just trying to get the book out there and see where it can go.
Sometimes it's all about getting that first big project out there, and then you never know, 8 years from now.
Yes.
It could be adapted into a feature.
There we go.
Oscar-winning film. You never know.
The dream. Yeah, that would be awesome. But
thank you so much for taking the time to tell us about your book.
Yes,
it is The Broken Underneath.
We can zoom in there.
And so I love the read so far. It's so detail rich.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll appreciate it. And thank you so much for having me on.
All right. Well, don't go anywhere. Up next, we hear from the Salvation